Hello, Keith, back here again, and back in Trans-Pennine world, and in Manchester, about to take this one to Leeds via Huddersfield, where we will have... no, we are not having anything in there. I just got the video in two parts in Huddersfield. Let's set everything on. So good to go when the time comes to that. Oh yeah. This one. This one. Here are some stuff. The light on. So let's quickly look out. Lights are on. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And we are ready to go. Basically 1 minute after. So let's lock the doors. Reverse forward. Release the brakes as usual. Let's give us some. So we are in class 47, British Rail class 47, and yes, I'm going to stop a little bit and talk a little bit about class 47. First, if you see my previous videos, then you probably already know that out of the two, class 45 and class 47, I really like this one more. I do like class 47, but I like this one more. Stupid reason, aesthetics reason. That's the how I roll, I'm afraid. And I feel better in this one as well, even though actually I think class 45 is better in this game. But stupid me prefers this one. There's really no reason why I prefer one over the other. I just like this one more. That's it. The British Rail Class 47 is a class of British Railway diesel electric locomotive that was developed in the 1960s by brush traction. A total of 512 Class 47s were built at Crewe Works and Brush Falcon Works, Loughborough, between 1962 and 1968, which made them the most numerous class of British mainline diesel locomotive. So, type diesel electric, build or brush traction, British Rail Crewe networks. Between 1962 to 1968, and totally produced 512 locomotives. The operators were British Rail, English, Welsh and Scottish, Colas Rail, Direct Rail Services, GB Rail Freight, Harry Needle Railroad Company, Riviera Trains, West Coast Railways and Rail Operations Group. And they were fitted with the Sulzer 12 LDA28C twin bank 12-cylinder unit producing 2,750 brake horsepower. So this was later derated to 2,580 brake horsepower to improve reliability, and have been used on both passengers and freight trains on Britain's railways for over 50 years. That's right, folks. Despite the introduction of more modern types of traction, a significant number are still in use, both on the main line and on heritage railways. As of September 2018, 80 locomotives still exist as Class 47s, with further examples having been converted to other classes. 30 retain operational status on the main line. So they're still active, which says pretty much a lot about those locos, really, in my opinion. Good things are worth to keep active, aren't they? The Class 47 history begins in the early 1960s with the stated aim of the British Transport Commission to remove steam locomotives from British Rail by target date of 1968. It therefore required a large build of lightweight Type 4 locomotives to achieve this aim. This required locomotives producing at least 2,500 brake horsepower, but with an axle load of no more than 19 long tons. However, the BTC was not convinced that the future of diesel traction lay down the hydraulic transmission path of the Western region, and began looking at various diesel-electric designs. Initially, the BTC invited tenders to build 100 locomotives to the new specification. The following responses were received. Before we continue, I try to manage speed a little bit. A consortium of the Birmingham Railway Carriage and Wagon Company, Associated Electrical Industries and Sulzer offered a production version of their D0260 Lion prototype under construction at the time, with both steam and electric heating. Brush Traction offered three options: a production version of their twin-engine D0280 Falcon prototype under construction, or a single-engine design using either a Sulzer engine or the English Electric 16C SVT, including steam heating with an option for electric heating. English Electric offered a design based on the eventual TP2 prototype. North British Locomotive Company offered a Sulzer-powered design with steam and electric heating. Of these beats, the BRCW AEI Sulzer beat was the preferred option. But before the prototypes could be assessed, the need for a larger number of locomotives quickly was deemed paramount, and the BTC decided on a new approach. It was decided to cancel the final order of 20 Class 46 locomotives and invite bids for 20 locomotives of the new Type 4 specification, using the brush electrical equipment intended for the cancelled order. Waiting for this new order went in favor of brush. This initial build of 20 locomotives were mechanically different from the remainder of the type. using Westinghouse supplied brake systems and would be withdrawn earlier than the rest of the class, which used Metcalfe-Ehrlichen brakes. However, based on these and the success of Lion, an order of 270 locomotives was made, which was later revised upwards a number of times to reach the final total of 512. 5 locomotives were fitted with the Sulzer V12 12LPA24 power unit and classified as Class 48s. The experiment was not deemed a success and they were later converted to standard 47s. That much about the origin. After Stalybridge we will cover a little bit more history of Class 47. Meanwhile, I just let you sit back and take in what I just told you. And I can have a little breather and take a coffee as well. And as maximum speed is 95 miles an hour on this loco, I can see why it's so much used and why it still is used actually. Let's admire a little bit, as long as the end is. I don't think this taillight is actually working. Is it Stalybridge or is it Stalybridge? How should I pronounce it? I'm trying to be on top of my game in the end. And it looks like I somewhat succeed. Wow. I think this was my best stop I've done in this. I have to get out and, you know, admire. Stop. Just have to get out and admire the stop. We are ready to go. This is good. That's always good. So as Huddersfield is a little bit away, I can go on about this one, but no, at the moment we are waiting for a little bit. And I wanna look, I wanna keep an eye on speed as well. I think we can give an speed limits will go up in a second. Maybe I give her too early. It's okay, it went up, which is good. Trying to keep one eye on speed as well. Eventually 310 locomotives were constructed by Brush in Loughborough, and the remaining 202 at British Railways crew networks. Sorry, not crew networks, crew works. The first 500 locomotives were numbered sequentially from T1 500 to T 1999, with the remaining 12 being numbered from D1100 to D1111. The locomotives went to work on passenger and freight duties on all regions of British Rail. Large numbers went to replace steam locomotives, especially on express passenger duties. The locomotives bar at batch of 81, built for freight duties, were all fitted with steam heating boilers for train heat duties. The initial batch of 20 plus D1960 and D1961 were also fitted with electric train heating. With this type of heating becoming standard, a further large number of locomotives were later fitted with this equipment. In the mid-1960s, it was decided to derate the engine output of the fleet from 2,750 brake horsepower to 2,580 brake horsepower. Nice sound. Significantly improving reliability by reducing stresses on the power plant, whilst not causing a noticeable reduction in performance. In the early 1970s, the fleet was renumbered into the 47 series, 47XX series, to conform with the computerized TOPS systems. This enabled a number of easily recognizable subclasses to be created, depending on the differing equipment fitted. The original series were based on train heating capability and were as follows. Class 47-0 locomotives with steam heating equipment. Class 47-3 locomotives with no train heating. And this one, Class 47-4, what we are running at the moment, locomotives with dual or electric train heating. However, this numbering system was later disrupted as locomotives were fitted with extra equipment and were renumbered into other subclasses. For an overview of the renumbering, see the okay. I'm not going there. Where we are going is Class 47-4, because that's what we are running. The designation for standard locomotives fitted with ETH and therefore used for passenger, mail and parcels use. By the way, we will do mail service in 47 instead of 45. (133) locomotives had been fitted by the time renumbering occurred, and shortly afterwards the subclass had settled down to 154 locomotives, numbered 47-401 to 47-547 and 47-549 to 47-555. Later further Class 47-0s were converted to Class 7-4s and renumbered into the series from 47-556 onwards, which eventually reached 47-665. There are a lot of other subclasses of these locomotives, but we are not going to touch on them at the moment. A little bit the sad part. By 1986 only 5 of the original 512 locomotives had been withdrawn from service, all because of serious accident damage. However, with work for the class declining due to the introduction of new rolling stock, and spare parts becoming difficult to source, some inroads started being made. The first locomotives to be targeted were the non-standard pilot batch of 20, now numbered 47401 to 47420. 3 locomotives were withdrawn as life expired in February 1986, and the remainder of the batch that had not recently been overhauled followed in the next 2 years. All 20 were withdrawn by 1992. Meanwhile, British Rail drew up a hit list of locomotives for early withdrawal, mainly including those with non-standard electrical equipment. Known as series parallel locomotives, in the outset withdrawals were slow, mainly due to the surplus of spare parts and new flows of freight traffic which required extra locomotives. Only 61 locos had been withdrawn by the end of 1992. However, with the introduction of new locomotives, the rate of withdrawal quickly rose, with 86 more 47s reaching the end of their lives in the next 3 years. With most of the non-standard locos withdrawn, the reduction of the fleet again proceeded more slowly. The privatization of British Rail also produced new independent rail companies needing available traction until they could order new locos. From 1996 to 2006, an average of around 15 locomotives per year were taken out of service. During the decline in passenger work, a number of locomotives were painted in celebrity colors, depicting various liveries that the type had carried during its history. This continued a tradition of painting 47s in unusual liveries, which dates back to 1977, when Stratford Depot in East London painted 2 locomotives with huge Union flags to celebrate the Silver Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. And today, in 2018, after over 55 years of frontline passenger and freight operations, 35 locomotives are fitted with the required systems in order to be mainline registered, excluding reserved examples. With 24 locomotives currently operational on the national network and the balance stored, 1 locomotive has been exported to Hungary. The following is a list of companies currently operating Class 47s, and they are West Coast Railways, Vintage Trains, Rail Operations Group, Arlington Fleet Services, GB Rail Freight. So that's pretty much that. And interesting stuff. Between 1963 and 1966, 10 locomotives similar to the British Rail Class 47 were supplied to Ferrocarriles de Cuba, Cuban National Railways. Although built by Brush, they were publicly stated to be supplied by Clayton Equipment Company. So that's the Class 47. And it didn't even take an hour to go over it. If you are interested to find out more, feel free to do some research and yeah, find out more. There's plenty of information available about class 47, and it's pretty easily to find as well. And also the pictures are there as well. So the heritage of these locomotives is actually pretty huge. And going through history of those locomotives, history as a overall helps me personally, as well as I get my mind off things, and it's always nice and interesting. Now I apologize if you don't care about the history pretty much, but I do. I find it really interesting. Yeah, I'm going to speed through from here. As I don't have throttle on, I reckon we can go through here. Right there. Speed limit's gonna change again anyway. In a second. Okay, not in a second, in a minute. Would be more appropriate. Yeah, as it did. I would like to really much to add on this route. I really like this route. Why not Liverpool, for example? By the way, congratulations to all Liverpool Football Club fans for winning another European Cup. Now I have to use brakes, but not those brakes. That won't look good. That's it. Getting a little bit too crazy with speed otherwise. So pretty much don't like. Now with new TLC coming, heavy cargo pack for this line, Northern Trans-Pennine line. It will give even more things to do here. Yeah. So I really hope for third-party development to kick in at some point. It's a highly doubt to get more add-ons, and why not even to give us the option to be more modern. Because I personally think it would be great. Huddersfield is just around the corner after this town. And we have red light coming up, but we have Huddersfield train station before the red light. Basically we have stopped before, we have to stop before the red light. Behind the red light. And here we are. Wrong side again. So let's get out and wrap this first part of this video up of this journey. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you continue this journey with me in the next video to where we take this from Huddersfield to Leeds. Take care.